Hello, welcome to the Mark Attwood Show, Adventures in a Cosmic Suit from sunny Marrakesh, joined by two of my friends here, Naima and Tivan, which you may have, hey, you're talking over me, what are you doing? Now, you guys may have met these two before because I did a video about, I can't remember what it was, a couple of months ago called Live from Marrakesh, when I showed you the fact that these guys make the world's best orgonite products. This is something for your phone. This is a garden pot to make your flowers grow bigger and your vegetables grow bigger. Not that I like vegetables, but there you go. And this is a sleep pod, which is the bestseller.
Yes.
Which helps you sleep. This is a pyramid for all around the house and garden. And this is a charging plate with the flower of life on it. And if you're not familiar, I'll leave a link below if you want to go and check out the orgonite that these guys make. And I highly recommend that you do, because the testimonials from tens of thousands of people across the planet speak for themselves. Oh, and there's also this, which is a pendant, which is something else they make. So thanks, guys, for fixing the world, because it's fixed the world at Morocco. And I've been here over Christmas, and I thought it'd be a great idea for us to do a show, because I've known these guys for 8 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think the story...
Already.
8 years, yeah.
It's
and
crazy.
The story is that when I moved to Morocco in 2014, I happened across a Facebook page which talked about somebody in Morocco trying to make a Tesla free energy device. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I got in touch with Naima here, and you guys were living in Tetouan, which is 6 hours north of here.
Yep.
And I came up with my family, we met up, we became good friends, and then they moved to Marrakesh, and here I am. Now, one of the things about these guys is that they've done an enormous amount of research into things like, for lots of things, but one of which is Forbidden Tech, which is their book here, which I'll put a link below the video for that as well if you want to read it. Highly recommend you read this. It's full of fascinating stuff. But I thought it'd be a great idea to do a show with you guys about, because you've done a lot of research into EMF.
Years worth, yeah.
Yes.
EMF is a very, very important subject. So you've got a presentation you're going to talk us through.
Yes.
So then I'm going to interrupt if I've got any questions, because I'm a dumbass and I don't know everything like you do. So, and it'll help with the audience. So let's get cracking.
This will be great.
All right.
So this is our EMF protection basics presentation. And this will be great just to like give everybody like that one-on-one education about EMF.
You get some technical issues. Oh, I forgot to say, guys, Adventures in a Cosmic Suit Live is happening in Manchester. The initial date is the 15th of April. The link is below this video if you want to get tickets. We're limited to 444 tickets. When that one's sold out, we may open up another date on the Sunday and maybe on the Friday, depending on how busy it is. But that's the first time Tarot by Janine will be playing live in the UK, along with me hosting it. We're going to do it more like the show compared to the last time, which was more like a list of speakers. It's going to be a hell of a day. And hopefully 3 days if you all want to come. And on the 19th of April, there's going to be a gala dinner in the Trumps Hotel in Doonbeg in Ireland, which is going to be on the 19th of April. Tickets are selling for both of those things fast, but the links are below this video. Okay.
Excellent.
Let's go.
So here is, here we go. Here's a brief summary of what we're going to talk about. We're just going to let you guys know who we are and why we do what we do. We're going to talk about the dangers of EMF, what you can do to protect yourself against from EMFs. And also we're going to talk about the science behind our products. We're going to tell you how orgonite works and how Shungite works.
And we're also going to talk about more about the science, the blood tests, the plants, ice tests, the pyramid shape study, all the science behind how the stuff works, the benefits and the testimonials. And again, all links and more info reference can be found at our blog post.
So this is a little bit about why we do what we do. We're Christians, engineers, and scientists. We feel it's our calling to help inform people about the technology that's being used against God's creation.
Which is us.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
And also, as Mark mentioned, we wrote a book called Forbidden Tech, which is a complete guide to energy, social, and biological technologies that they did not want you to know about. You can check out the website. We'll put the link below. And we make our own handmade products, Orgone and Shungite, for EMF protection. They're made by us here in our workshop in Morocco. There'll be a link below for that if you want to check out those products. And then in our spare time, we run an online engineering academy for the co-development of researching and building DIY off-grid energy devices. And you can find that at cleanenergyacademy.com. Again, that link will be below if you're interested.
You're going to have a lot more spare time now I'm going home.
So let's go ahead and I'll have Tivan start us off with the dangers of EMF radiation.
Okay, so over the past couple of decades, there's been compelling evidence for the 8 distinct types of great harm caused by electromagnetic exposure, EMF, and the mechanism that causes them. So there is a 127-page ebook that is a powerful summary of the science that telecoms don't want us to know, because it scientifically demonstrates beyond any reasonable doubt the biologically harmful effect of 5G developments and wireless radiation in general. It also includes citations to 139 scientific research papers.
So that's really well summed up there. And what we do at this presentation is we put a blog post together for links that has everything that, if you want to go look this up for yourself and read all of these studies, that'll be in the blog post, which is part of your affiliate link as well.
Cool. Where's the 5G summit? Where was that? Martin L. Paul, PhD, he wrote that. And it says the 5gsummit.com. I suppose that was a few years ago, was it?
Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah.
But he's out of Washington State University, and he's been doing this kind of study for a long time. It's his particular field. So, you know, I know a lot of people are approached on the street, or they're talking to a friend, and you know, their friend or someone will say, "Oh, there's no research. There's nothing proves that you know, microwave exposure or routers are dangerous." Well, this is the paper that you want to reference.
Okay, cool.
All right, so you have Martin Paul, Professor Emeritus of Biochemistry and Basic Medical Sciences at Washington State University, and this is his quote: "EMFs act by activating channels in the membrane that surround each of our cells, called voltage-gated calcium channels, or VGCCs for short. The EMFs put forces on the voltage sensors that control the VGCCs of about 7.2 million times greater than the forces on other charged groups in our cells. Basically, these electromagnetic fields are hitting our bodies millions of times greater than what they're used to experiencing. And you know, this is why weak EMFs has such large biological effects on our cells of our bodies. The EMFs work this way, not only on human and diverse animal cells, but also in plant cells. So our plants are affected too. So that this is a universal or near universal mechanism of action. And again, this quote is cited in the paper.
So what can you do to protect yourself against EMF? So this is kind of like our standard list that we give everybody that asks us this question. There's several things you can do. Detox your body from heavy metals, because the heavy metals inside of your body work in conjunction with the EMFs around you. You can change your diet to boost your immune system. That will help to fight off the immune system destroying effects of the EMF. You can move to a more natural area if it's possible. Definitely get out of the city. Try to get away from any kind of grid with lots and lots of cell phone towers, especially 5G towers. You can turn off your Wi-Fi at night. And most importantly, you can equip your home with EMF protection products.
I'll just mention to everybody watching, there's a link below this for a zeolite product that I've been recommending for 2 years, which is amazing for removing heavy metals from your body.
Excellent.
Wow.
So let's get into the science behind our EMF protection products. I'll have Tavon take us off on this.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about how our products work. And it's based on the science in the 1930s, where the late Dr. Wilhelm Reich discovered that living samples placed in containers made from alternating layers of steel and non-conductive organic material were able to harness healthy cosmic energy from the environment. And he called this energy orgone. He created these boxes called orgone accumulators that had the ability, off different studies and tests he did, to preserve blood samples for longer periods of time in the box, sprout healthier plant seedlings, provide pain relief for his patients who sat inside these human-sized boxes. And so fast forward to today, and instead of a box, we have composites made from a blend of iron oxide, steel, brass, shungite, and crystal powders that are encased in an epoxy resin that produce the same effects and are able to transform the harmful wireless fields from your cell towers, your smart meters, the smartphones, your internet router, your television, into more beneficial energy for you, your plants, and your pets.
And didn't they arrest him in the 50s? And
yeah.
Didn't he die in prison?
Yes, he died in prison right before the completion of his trial.
And
Yes.
they like destroyed a lot of his research as well. They tried to get rid of it.
He was one of the only few scientists that had his books burned in Russia, Germany, and the United States after World War II.
They definitely didn't want his work to carry on.
No.
So the other thing that you need to know about with our products is Shungite. So this is part of the science, is the Shungite in the product. It's a rare mineral. It's believed to come from an asteroid that can only be found in one place in the world, and that's in Karelia, Russia. It's the only mineral of its kind that contains fullerenes, which have been proven effective in protection from EMFs and also are used for cleaning nuclear waste such as Fukushima.
Yeah, so what you see also in this diagram is how a fullerene is basically a nested buckyball of carbon. And it's able to take the electromagnetic radiation that's coming from the left and change its nature on the right. So it's changing the spin, and that makes it more compatible with living things.
Yeah, a lot of people put Shungite into water as well to energize it, don't they?
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
is, yeah.
You can use like Shungite in a chunk form, like big stone form,
Yes.
to filter water through, and it'll filter your water that way.
Mhm.
We use Shungite in every single one of our products. It's one of the blends that we put into each one of these things, and you can put water on top of, say, like one of the charge plates. You can put water on top of that, and the Shungite will help to filter and clean that water and structure the water as well. We'll get into that.
Through the glass.
Yeah, in a little bit. We'll talk about that some more. So let's just talk about how we make our products. We take a Shungite, quartz crystals, iron oxide, steel, and all in powder form. We mix the powders together, and then we put them into an epoxy resin inside of a mold that we make ourselves. And this is how the products work, because they don't necessarily block EMF. They transform the energy. So they take this dirty energy and they make it into a healthy, life beneficial energy. So we make our products by hand, mixing Shungite, iron oxide, steel, brass, and quartz crystal powder into an epoxy resin. When the epoxy cures into a solid plastic state, it puts pressure on the surface area of the ingredients. This causes something known as the piezoelectric effect, which then emits a harmonizing field generated by the specific properties of the ingredients. It's this field that transforms the harmful energy from EMFs into healthy, life-preserving energy. You can place our products all around yourself and your environment for the best effect.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the science behind our EMF protection products. And we have the blood test, plants, and the ice test. So the effects of the scientific phenomenon were replicated and well documented in studies done by the University of Pennsylvania and the Heraclitus Microscopic Research Laboratory. And also we can easily replicate the field doing an ice test in your very own freezer. What you see on the left is a blood sample that were taken by people who took two blood samples. One was for the control, where blood samples put in a wooden box, and the other one was put in an Orgone accumulator box. And what you see on the left is they were comparing the time it took for the blood to degrade, because blood falls apart, starts to degrade once it's taken from the body. And this is 50 minutes snapshot after the blood's being taken out of the body. On the left, it's in the accumulator, and on the right, it was in a control wooden box. And what they found is that the blood on the right that was in the control was degrading much, much faster, or normal speed. Whereas the blood on the left that was in the accumulator was preserved longer. It took much longer for the blood cells to die, basically. And you can tell they're dying with the spiky formations on the blood. It starts to become irregular shaped as the blood is degrading.
So basically, it's orgonite is like a fountain of youth for your blood.
So he has huge implications what you could do if you're able to build Orgone accumulator chambers, or even using the composite like what we're talking about and making yourself a bed or a chamber of orgonite. These are kind of effects that would happen to the body. What you have on the in the middle here is called the ice test. And the ice test is very easy. You have an Orgone composite, orgonite plate underneath a clean glass of water. And some people also add food coloring to get a better definition of what's going on inside the glass. And now, before you do this test, before you put the Orgone piece in there with the glass, just get some plain water, put it in the freezer, let that be your control, take it out of the freezer, take snapshots of it, video record it, and look at the shape, and just keep that in mind. Then you do this test with the Orgone plate in the freezer, with another glass in there with the food coloring, so you can get a relief and see what you're looking at. And you'll get the Orgone field form in the form of a vortex in the middle, or you'll get the structure where all the air bubbles are twisting in the middle, and it'll condense all the food coloring into the middle of the glass. It's a very fascinating effect.
And I can testify to this because I remember when you did this 6 years ago, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's worth doing.
It's neat to be able to see that field frozen in the ice.
And then what you have on the right there is a replication of seedlings being grown inside an Orgone accumulator box. And this was actually done by the University of Pennsylvania, where they wanted to replicate the Orgone accumulator experiment with seedlings. And they replicated the experiment, and sure enough, the seedlings grew with healthier sprouts and tails, more robust, more of them germinated inside the accumulator than in the control. And this is a scientific study, from a university, and their conclusion was, what they can only define was, quote, cosmic energy was inside the box. And water, that they used to water the seedlings, keep them wet, was absorbing this energy. And then the seedlings were taking in the water. So then the seedlings became charged. It was a very fascinating study. And what you see on the lower right, this image here, is 2 garden beds. Actually, there are quite a few gardeners at this point that are using orgonite to grow their plants healthier than normal. And what you see is that on the right, they put orgonite in the bed. On the left, they didn't. And on the right, you can see the results. The results speak for themselves. Healthier, stronger plants, more of them that are growing and fruiting.
And we've been practicing what we preach, so we use orgonite for all of our gardening as well. And there's a fascinating story about the country next to us, Algeria, how they put this Orgone accumulator cloud buster in the desert, which allowed them to grow food in the desert because it brings in the rain and the good energy for the plants. So they were able to feed an entire village just by using the Orgone energy.
Cool.
So this is another study. And by the way, we have full-length videos for all of these studies on our website as well. We go more in depth and we explain it and go through everything. So you can go check those out. So here's another study about the shape of a pyramid. So Alexander Golod is a Ukrainian former defense contractor and scientist who performed pyramid research experiments that involved using expensive military helicopters and equipment that could measure ion columns in the atmosphere that were generated from pyramids. The shape of the pyramid has a function. It directs energy out through the tip to affect the environment around us. This is why we make Orgone energy Shungite pyramids. They can be used to place around your property to create a grid of protection against EMFs, cell phone towers, and chemtrails. Tavon, can you tell people what it looks like in the above our house?
Okay.
With the clouds and the effects we've been seeing with the pyramids?
Okay, so when you have these pyramids, we have a flat roof, and when you have them out there, it starts to break up the film. I mean, right now it's a pretty nice, clear blue sky day for us. But when they decide to start laying down these chemtrails, normally you have this, what starts off as chemtrails turn into this sheet, this film, and it start to cover your entire, as far as you can see into the horizon. Well, when you start placing these in a new environment on your flat roof, it starts to puncture holes through that sheet, and you start to get patches of blue, and it'll start to grow to where you are the sheet, the film starts turning into clouds above you with blue sky breaking through. But when you look miles away from you, you still see the gray, and it's amazing to see. It's amazing to watch. Basically, the charges, the ions that are coming off the tips of these pyramids are binding to the positively charged chemtrails, and it's sending it upward, and it causes a disturbance in that sheet.
And I've seen this for myself, and Morocco is a great place to do this because of clear skies here and very little sky pollution, very few airplanes, in fact. And we did these 6-7 years ago. So yeah, I can testify to that as well.
Yeah, there's like always this blue hole
Yeah.
above our house when there's clouds out. It's you know where our house is when you're driving because you can see it in the distance, right?
Yeah.
So this is a fascinating study that was out about 3 or 4 years ago. Great Pyramid can focus electromagnetic energy. This was out of phys.org, this article. The study reveals that the Great Pyramid of Giza can focus electromagnetic energy. So an international research group has applied methods of theoretical physics to investigate the electromagnetic response of the Great Pyramid to radio waves. Scientists predicted that under resonant conditions, the pyramid can concentrate electromagnetic energy in its internal chambers and under the base. The research group plans to use these theoretical results to design nanoparticles capable of producing similar effects at the optical range. Basically, they want to make small nanoparticle pyramids to do the same thing at higher frequencies. Such nanoparticles may be used, for example, to develop sensors and highly efficient solar cells, and the study was published in the Journal of Applied Physics. So what you see on the image on the left is a pyramid simulation of the Pyramid of Giza with all the materials, the composition, and they applied different frequencies to it to see what the response would be in an environment when it's exposed to radio waves. And we know that we're in a sea of radio waves naturally also. So the propagation of these electromagnetic waves inside the pyramids of Cheops at different lengths of radio waves from 200 to 400 meters, the black rectangular position of the so-called King's Chamber, which is inside the pyramid, is also in there too. So there's a square where you can see the King's Chamber when this whole thing is resonating, and it has this field underneath the pyramid when the pyramid is resonating because of radio waves. It's a fascinating study.
Okay, so here is, wait, hang on. Let me do that. So here is a list of the different types of products that we make and what you can use them for. So up at the top, these are our sleeping pods. These are our best seller. I had Tavon create these for me. When I was wearing our pendants, I felt really, really calm. And I said, and I had insomnia for many years because of the EMFs. I couldn't sleep at night. And I think that might be a big part of a lot of people's problems when they have problems sleeping. And so I said, could you make me something bigger than a pendant that I could hold in my hand that's really nice? It feels good in your hand, right? So he made this for me. I started using them and it has cured my insomnia completely. Gosh, this was like 6 or 7 years ago that he made this for me. And I have slept like a baby ever since that whole time. And I suffered from insomnia for years. So that's why they're our best seller. People love them. They swear by them. It's great to travel with them too.
Feels great. It's like one of those little chocolates that are around on the top and the bottom. It feels like one of them.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Right. So those are our sleeping pods. We also have charge plates. So you can use our charge plates. They come in a bronze, and they also come in black. And that's just like, sort of like extra Shungite black, or just if you like the color black. But every single one of our products, like I said, they all have Shungite in them. Mm-hmm. You can use the plates around the home to preserve your food and more. So that's a really cool trick, especially if you do like vegetables, right? Especially if you want to eat like organic vegetables, how quickly those vegetables can go off once you bring them into the house, right? In your fridge. You put one of these in your fridge, and it made my lettuce last like a month instead of going off in just a couple of days, because it preserves the life energy of your food. So it helps to keep your food fresh, and it's good for food preservation. Also, you put it in your freezer and it'll structure all of your ice cubes. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really, really cool. You can put them like on a coffee table in the room. People like to sit on them sometimes, put them on the dashboard of the car, all different kinds of things you can do with the charge plates.
They're also good, like if you're not feeling well, and you're just like in the bed or on the couch, and if you take a charge plate, just kind of, you know, put it on your where it's hurting, you know, in your side or what have you.
Yeah, and also the design makes it so that you could put like a bowl of fruit and just place it on top of the charge plate. So it's because it's nice and flat, so you can put things on top of it like pitchers of water to structure your water or a bowl of fruit. We also have phone shields, which you can use on your cell phone, but you can also stick them to your laptop and your routers, anywhere that you've got on the back of a TV, maybe if you have like a smart TV.
Your forehead, like,
Right. And there's just really strong sticky tape on the back. So you just stick them right to the phone or right to the phone case. Doesn't matter if it's on the phone or on the phone case. And so therefore it fits every single size phone that there is out there. One size fits all. We also have our pendants for personal EMF protection on your body. If you don't like wearing pendants, you can also put them in your pocket. We have a lot of people that do that. And some people actually, I think they put them in their hat, like they like to wear hats. And they said that they wore them in their hat because they didn't like to wear stuff around their neck. So the pendants. And then we've got our pyramids. Like we said before, that you could use the pyramids. You can get just one pyramid, or you can get a set of pyramids to grid your property. Or you can get several sets of pyramids to grid a much larger property. So we get questions a lot about how many should I get? This is the size of my property. And so Tavon's got some advice on how many to get for that. But we also sell them in garden sets along with our garden pucks. So the garden pucks are you can use them in the garden themselves, put them in the garden bed, or you can also use them like in your potted plants. Just simply lay it into the pot right next to the plant, and it helps to keep that orgone energy going to keep your plants healthy. And lastly, we've got construction tiles. These are tiles that we made for any kind of construction project. So they're the standard size tile, like a bathroom tile would be. They come in a plain design, and then one with a Moroccan design on it. They're all black, but you can paint them if you want to have a different color, but they're made out of that composite. And we would suggest spreading these tiles out with other tiles that you have, like if maybe you're renovating a bathroom, we're putting in a pool, so we're going to be putting these tiles all the way around the pool in order to charge the water of the pool to have like a really amazing environment of orgone energy and water.
yeah.
What's great about the tiles also is that you can drop them, you know, by accident, of course, and they won't shatter.
Yeah, they're pretty durable and tough. And on our site, we've got a bunch of testimonies as well. Here's just one of them. We can't believe our eyes. We placed the garden pucks from our first order around our property, and the plants and trees with the pucks are blooming within days. This is happening with every single place the pucks have been rested. It's just incredible. And that was a customer in Australia, and she sent us pictures of her garden. It was really beautiful.
It was nice.
So my advice is go puck yourself.
And like we said, they're all handmade by us in Morocco. We ship worldwide. And this year we're celebrating 10,000 customers. So we're really, really excited. And Mark, you had a big part in that. He was the one that helped us start all of this.
Yes, he is.
Well, I'm really proud of you. I know how much love and energy you put into this, and how much knowledge you put into this. And you know, I really highly recommend your stuff to everybody I meet. But all the links are below. Don't forget, below the video. Just go and click the links. Everything that's in this, you can just go and click.
And just as a short list here, the benefits of our products are better sleep, stress relief, pain relief, healthy home environment, better seed germination and plant growth. They preserve fresh foods and extend the shelf life of your food. And they also help to maintain healthy blood.
That's really important. I think who was I talking to earlier? I was just maybe I was just talking to myself, but I was actually saying, I think I was in the car earlier going, when I get back to Ireland, the first thing I'm going to do is organize a blood test for myself.
Yeah,
because we really, none of us, we all just hand it over to the guys in the white coats.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but you can get a blood test yourself, and you can get tons of information from that.
And you can learn about what's going on in your body that way.
Exactly. And it's a great idea that if you're not feeling great in yourself, get a blood test, and then get products like this, and then get another one done in 3 months.
And that's a good
and look
idea.
at the difference, you know. We
Absolutely.
need to take more. I mean, this is what I mean by health sovereignty. It's taking more control over the knowledge of this amazing vessel of God that you inhabit, and doing something about it.
All right, well, that was it. We just had a couple slides that are just showing some of the testimonies that are on our site, and also the blog post. There's a blog post link below that gives you all the links to all the different studies we were just telling you about, so you can go look them up for yourselves.
Well, I know you put a lot of work into all of this, and I thank you. I thought it'd be fun to do a little show like that. I've never done a show like this with 2 people and a PowerPoint presentation. It's very slick. Yeah, really, really good. And guys, these are 2 of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and I promise you, these things are the best I've ever encountered. So thanks for watching. Don't forget all the links below the video. Have a great new year, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.